Great songs, great music. We say hello to rock royalty today and a purveyor of catchy tunes for many a year. Hello to Graham Gouldman. Hello, Graham.
Hello, Dave. How are you?
Oh, it's nice to talk to you, and
Thank you.
So much to chat about, really. But of course, we're looking ahead also to the 10cc tour in October and November.
Yeah.
Now, I know you've been busy, Graham, this summer because you've had a fairly extensive tour in Europe with the Ringo Starr All-Star Band.
Yes, I have. Yeah, that's been great.
And that's
really enjoyable.
Yeah.
And we've got another tour coming up in September, for the month of September.
Oh, that's very good, isn't it?
In America, yeah.
Yeah, because this was like a bit of an introduction to that format for you, personally.
Yeah.
How did you find it and the touring generally?
Well, it was very different, really, because, all the members of the band, just so I can explain it, it's called the All-Star Band because all the members of the band have had hits in their own right and have their own bands. So for all of us, it's slightly different being in someone else's band, but obviously that someone else is someone incredibly special, and I think we all feel the same. We're all honoured to be working with Ringo Starr. It's fantastic, and it's different. It's different from running your own band with when you've been with some of the same musicians since the mid '70s or early '70s, and then you're suddenly working with new people. But of course, I think we all work with other people during. Have worked with other people over the years anyway, but it's just the leaving your comfort zone of what you really know so well. But it was really enjoyable, and it's it was learning a whole new set of, I think there were like 24 new songs to learn. That I actually really enjoyed it. It's a bit of a challenge, and you want to do your best. And I spent a long time, rehearsing so that me as the actual new boy of the band could go straight in and not hang anybody up with me having to learn anything, or if I was getting something wrong, then they'd have to teach me. But it wasn't like that at all.
Well, something must have been right, because you're obviously going back for more in the States, as you say, September time.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Which is really good, isn't it? Now, does that mean then for this Ringo Starr format, are you pretty much on stage for the whole of the duration? I know
the whole time.
The whole time, yeah.
We actually all are, except for Ringo, who takes a break during two of the numbers. But otherwise, we're all on stage the whole time and playing on each other's numbers.
Ah, right. So I take it, Graham, you're playing bass throughout then and backing vocals?
I do play bass, backing vocals, and I do an acoustic on one song.
How long was your own part of that? Your songs and your
Well, I do 3 songs. I'm Not in Love, The Things We Do for Love, and Dreadlock Holiday. And so all of us do either 2 or 3 songs each, and Ringo does about, maybe 12. We've got Steve Lucas from Toto, Colin Hay from Men at Work, and Greg Rowley from Santana and Journey. We've also got Greg Bissonette who plays drums, and Warren Ham, who plays sax, keyboards, and percussion.
It's a shame. I'm not aware that they've played much, if at all, in the UK, the Ringo Starr Band.
They haven't.
No.
And which is a real shame. And everybody says that. I'm not quite sure what the reason is. It would be great to play here.
Yeah. Now, off and on since the 1990s, you've been touring with 10cc, and of course in your own right, Graham, acoustically.
Yes. It's I have something called Heart Full of Songs, which is me and 2 of the guys that I work with. Actually, one of the guys is sometime lead singer with 10cc, Ian Hornell, and a guy called Kieran Jeremiah from The Feeling, and Dave Cobby, who's actually a 10cc tour manager, but he's also a percussionist. And the idea is that we play the songs that I've written or co-written over the decades. And there are songs, obviously 10cc songs I wrote in the 60s, but there's film songs. There's quite a few songs that I wrote with Andrew Gold, because Andrew and I worked together during the 80s, one of my happiest collaborations, I must say. And of course, Andrew was sadly passed away in the 2011.
Mm. Yeah, we're going to play a track from Wax.
Oh, great.
Yeah, because that's a very important part of your history in over the last 30-odd years or so.
Yeah, it is.
It is. So is that ongoing, the acoustic
Yes, it is.
side?
But it runs side by side. In a way, it actually started because of 10cc. We were doing a tour and we didn't have a support, and I said, I'll do it. And it was very nice because I'd come out and sing one song and then introduce one of the boys from the band had come out. And eventually there were 4 of us with acoustic guitars on stage, and it was really nice. And that's how the whole idea was born. And then I stopped doing it because I wanted the 10cc evening to be completely 100% 10cc and nothing else. But I liked doing this acoustic set because it's more intimate. I get to talk about how the songs were written, and it's quite a lot of fun. It's a bit more relaxed, you know. Yeah. It's a bit more low key, and I just really, really like it. And it's something that runs a lot. It doesn't interfere with, but runs alongside of 10cc. 10cc is my priority and everything, but we don't work 24/7, so there is always time to do it. And we have done 3 tours with Heart Full of Songs in the UK, but we're going to actually go to Holland next year, do a short tour there and see how it goes.
I'm sure the Ringo Starr gigs will create interest in those territories that you play in,
Yes, I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already had inquiries through me being on the Ringo Starr tour, so that's a bit of a bonus, really.
Yeah. As long as you don't desert Blighty, anyway, that's the main thing.
Never desert Blighty.
Now, what next for Graham Gouldman? You've mentioned the return to the Ringo Starr format, the All-Star Band. We've got the 10cc extensive tour coming up in October.
Yeah, and then we're going to Japan. 10cc are going to Japan again next year. Heart Full of Songs are going to Holland. 10cc are going to do a big city tour next March, and various festivals, and that seems to be the sort of how it goes, and it's been like that for the past sort of few years. The only thing that I've noticed is that the 10cc, the demand for us has got bigger, and I think about this quite a lot. The personnel of the band has obviously changed, but the music, the songs have remained the same, and I think that's what people want, as well as hearing music played live.
Yes.
I think that's a big, big thing. To go to a gig and it's happening now, and there's nothing, pre-recorded, and it's live.
Yeah. I think part of it's just people want to hear great music, great songs.
Yeah.
Without obviously the oxygen of the national radio play that you had back in the 70s and 80s, I think that does count for a lot, the lack of like Top of the Pops and all this sort of thing.
Well, I wish there was something that, Top of the Pops is a very good example, where we would watch that, and then the next day we'd all talk about it. Well, what did you think? Oh, this was crap, and that was great, and that was brilliant, or this was this and that. And so we'd all had a shared experience. Now we have our own individual experiences, unless there's something breaks out massively on the internet that everybody knows about.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very cynical, whether there's perhaps a lack of these classic songs around,
But what can you do? It's progress of sorts, and things change. But I think, for myself, I just feel that I was lucky enough to just be born and be at the right age that went through the most magnificent period in popular music, and that shaped me and what I do. And I feel really lucky that I was born at the time that I was.
And regarding 10cc then, going forward, I mean, do you have a fairly rigid set list, or do you respond to fan demands for something perhaps a bit less predictable?
Well, we do all the songs that you would expect us to do, all the hits. I mean, 10cc had 11 hits. But we also do various album tracks, and those tend to change. So we will mix it up a bit. There's obviously the basic set is, what you would expect. But I think it was 3 years ago, I did the sheet music album in its entirety, I did that because I think it was an anniversary of it, like 40 years or something. But the main reason for doing it was because it's my favourite 10cc album. And it was good to do it because also we had to learn some songs that even in the original band we'd never played live on stage before. And it was, some of the songs were quite a challenge actually, and we kind of enjoyed, we really dug doing that. It was great. So having done that, so the first half of the act would be the sheet music album, and then the second half would be the other hits and some other album tracks. And that was really, we really enjoyed doing that. You could see some of the audience were a bit perplexed because not certain people only know 10cc from the hits and not the album tracks. But nevertheless, so what I've done, I've kind of cherry-picked those songs from the sheet music album and put some of those into the tour. And yeah, things change. I've got a few ideas of doing something really quite different for the big city tour. And so that's kind of a work in progress at the moment.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be averse to playing whole albums again, having tried that with sheet music, I mean...
Yes, I'm not sure about doing a whole album, but I might do like chunks of a couple of albums, and certainly songs that we'd never done before. But there are songs that fans have requested that I've not been that mad to do, but I have to think about it.
And what about, the most obvious question, would you ever put out a new studio album under the 10cc banner?
Definitely not.
No, I thought you'd say that.
That's a, it's fine. I'm quite happy and at ease with us doing what we do now. But to put out a studio album under the name 10cc was completely out of the question.